Well, a good friend and an amazing storm chaser, Dr. Reed Timmer, always tells everybody, never stop chasing. Never stop chasing storms. And the other thing is, that I've also picked up from that, is never stop chasing your dreams. Because dreams will eventually come true to anyone. It doesn't matter what kind of thing you're going after, what kind of goals you have. Always look and continue to chase those goals, because when you find your goals and when you find your dream, you want that dream, and that dream is yours. And never ever stop chasing that, because someday you will also become very successful in life, and you will enjoy what you're doing, because you should never ever want to go to a job that you don't want to enjoy. And if you have a dream, go for it. Never ever stop chasing your dreams. Hi, I am sunburnt Brandon Houck, who did not slap on the sunblock today, like I said I would have earlier this morning. Yes, as we saw temperatures skyrocket to 20 degrees. So I'm Brandon Houck, the Doppler Boy, the guy with the shirt, and you can see that guy in the picture back there too. And yes, I study the weather. That's what I do. I do the weather every day. Now, how did I get into the weather? Well, before I got into weather, I was born here in Brooks, Alberta, obviously. Anyways, and I was raised here, and I've had a fantastic life here in Brooks. Raised and grew up here, and I drink water here all the time. And yeah, so I got into the weather. How did I get into weather? Well, I was a wee little boy. I was about the height of this chair. I was that small. I was so small. But how did I get into it? Well, we were going on a nice family vacation south of the border, somewhere. I forget where we were going. I even forget the whole vacation. I don't even know the purpose of the vacation. But I remember one thing, and I'll always remember it for the rest of my life, is flying right on into this big old thunderstorm. And this thunderstorm was a very powerful thunderstorm. I believe if I was a weather geek back then, when I was 4 years old, I probably had no clue what a supercell was, but I have a feeling that would have been a supercell thunderstorm that we flew into with very strong winds. The plane was rocking back and forth kind of like this. Well, probably not like that, but it was quite frightening. Quite a frightening situation. But then there's 4-year-old little old me sitting in the seat, go, woo, this is great. Like, acting like it was on a roller coaster. Like a big old-fashioned roller coaster ride. And I was having the time of my life going through that thunderstorm, lightning flashing from left to right. I think lightning may have struck the plane. May have. But the storm itself, it was very powerful. We finally got out of that storm. And next thing you know, when we got out of that storm, everybody was happy to get out of there. Everybody was happy to see ground. Everyone was nauseous, and it was not a good situation for most people, except for me. I had the time of my life, the ride of my life on that aircraft. And when I got off that aircraft, I wanted to go back on that aircraft and go back through that thunderstorm again. I was so excited. So, that got into my interest of thunderstorms. I was the biggest thunderstorm fanatic ever. Like, you know it. Like, the biggest thunderstorm fanatic. Like, every time there's a thunderstorm, or even in the forecast, I get all super excited. And so excited. Like, wow, thunderstorms are coming! Oh my god! Gotta drink the water! Oh, so, once that thunderstorm came, I was so excited, I would just stare out the window and watch the whole thunderstorm go through. Every single thunderstorm. I could not even nowadays, I cannot miss a thunderstorm. If I miss a thunderstorm, I'm grumpy. I'm mad. Like, I missed a thunderstorm. But that's the way my life has gone. Loving every single kind of thunderstorm, even if it's just the weak sauce thunderstorms. Like, oh, you could do better than that, one little lightning flash. And I still get excited. And I'm still waiting for a thunderstorm this season. So you'll see how excited I get soon in the next few months once we finally get a storm. I'm already sunburned, so we better get storms pretty soon here. Now, as the thunderstorm potential grows every day, I kind of get a little anxious and a little excited, and I start watching the Weather Network and all the other news channels to see the weather forecast. And when I was watching those TV shows, I was about 8 years old, and I said, you know what I want to be when I grow up? I want to be a weatherman. Before I went into weatherman, because I got really excited about airplanes all of a sudden because flying through that thunderstorm. I want to touch those thunderstorms. I want to feel those thunderstorms. I might as well be a pilot. But that went through the water, down the drain, and next thing you know, I wanted to be a weatherman, and here I am today, studying the weather. So at the beginning, when I was about 8 years old, I got every single road map. I got every single weather map. I collected weather books like you would not believe. The best weather books out there in the country. So once I got all these weather books, I started reading every one of those weather books. And I started looking at all the pictures, looking at all the graphics, and figuring out, okay, I think I could do this. That's right. And I watched, instead of Saturday morning cartoons when I was young, I'd watch the Weather Network. What a dork. That's what most people probably would have thought of that, but now, what a genius. Watching that kind of weather every day on TV, it's amazing, and learned so much about weather. And next thing you know, I got this big, huge map, like basically map about bigger than this wall. And I set it up in my room, and I stood in front of that wall, and I started doing the weather forecast every single day. I made sure I delivered a weather forecast all by myself in the corner of my room, instead of playing with dump trucks and motorcycles and airboats and whatever they play now. Video games, I did a little bit of video gaming, but not as much as most kids do, especially as they got older. But I made sure I got in front of that weather map every day, deliver that weather forecast, and basically be proud of myself. And then usually go outside in a thunderstorm. Well, I try not to go outside in a thunderstorm, but I make sure I watch the thunderstorm. But go outside in all the weather events and pretend I'm weather reporting out the weather events.
Alright, I don't know if you can hear me, but we got our winds clocking over 70 kilometers an hour. Wind warning in place. Potential safe gusts likely to exceed up to 90 kilometers an hour. It is just getting insane out here.
All the time. Now, as I got older and wiser, I actually got into social media. And that's when, well, as I got into school, junior high, everybody in elementary school figured out that I was interested in the weather. And they always let me, play with on the computer, let me go check the weather and show the class sometimes. And sometimes I always like to have a collection of newspapers, and I showed everyone my collection of weather on the newspapers, the Calgary Herald, Calgary Sun. And students thought I was interested in weather, and they kind of knew, and some of them loved my collection of newspapers. And once I got into junior high, I revealed that, because we all had to sit around and tell everybody what our favorite TV show was, I revealed I like watching the Weather Network. Everybody laughed. But I didn't care, because that's what I like doing. So, once social media came out, that was as I got into my teenager years, I literally, started getting onto social media. And that was when you turned, I'd say, 13, that's when you were allowed to join Facebook. Anyways, I wasn't really keen on joining social media at that time. I was like, what a silly thing to use. And then my own mother, suggested that I should join Facebook. Oh, what a great place that place is. It's still, well, it's okay place, but it has definitely improved a lot of what I've been thinking about, and a lot of my appearance and stuff with weather and social media, etc. So I started off with 70 friends, and a year later, as I really got into social media in junior high, and basically late junior high, eventually as I got well into my teens, I figured out, as I was 14-year-old me, decided, I should start writing the weather on here. Ooh. I only had 70 friends that didn't care. Most of them probably didn't even care about the weather at that point. But I started writing the weather, started doing the odd weather forecast. At that time, I wasn't going as ballistic as the Doppler Boy is going right now. I'm writing following every storm system and such. I was mostly writing the weather forecast for the Brooks area here. Type out a little weather forecast, one forecast a day. That was the limit. When you only have 70 friends, you don't really want to scare them all away. And then I started getting more friends throughout the next couple of years. And I'd say late junior high as I got into high school, got into Twitter, the Twitter machine, and started joining Twitter, getting followers there. And Twitter is an amazing place because that's where you really start noticing the celebrities starting to follow you. And the actual weather experts out in the field in meteorology, and you say that you're into weather and they start following you too, and then they start sharing your tweets and everything. So that's when social media really started to grow on me, is once I joined Twitter. But Facebook didn't, Facebook was, it got better for me over the next couple of years as I made more friends, Facebook friends. The whole school started adding me on Facebook, and many people, especially in the community, started to figure out that this guy posts the weather. He writes the weather every day. So I kept on going with the weather every day as I got through into high school at that time, and started gaining a little bit of a fan base there through high school. And at that time, probably about not even 1,000 friends, probably 200, 300 friends, and then that started to grow. And especially after high school, once I started to really began to start developing that weather forecast every day, and then I started following other weather events after high school. Not as many as I do now, but started to look at the tornado events, and started following what storm chasers are doing, and kind of wanting to follow some storms in our area here, kind of a local storm chaser, and go after some thunderstorms, because we get a lot of thunderstorms in this area here in Brooks. So start going after some of those thunderstorms at that time. And a couple of years later, this is about the start about 2014, that is when I started to really get a fan base notice. And well, 2012 into 2014, that's when some folks at the local radio station here in Brooks, that time it was the one at 101.1 and Q105.7, they started noticing that this guy is really good at doing the weather. And sometimes I come onto the radio station for a few little visits here, or not really, kind of a couple on here air hits talking about the weather story if we had a storm or anything, for a couple of times a year. So, and then that momentum started to grow. And in 2014, I started that's when I started doing the weather every day on the radio station here in Brooks there with a good friend of mine, Ashley B, and started doing the mornings there, a couple of weather hits in the morning, and then that started to grow over the next couple of years. And all of a sudden, now I'm doing the weather all day long. Now you can hear me every hour of the day on both radio stations here. So that started in 2014. And then also in 2014, I also joined the official weather observers of the Weather Network, and doing some stuff for them too. And then also earlier in the stage, I joined this group called the Weather Center, since I haven't been with them for a couple of years, but started writing my own weather forecasts and 5-day forecasts, etc. for almost every part of the country at that time until I couldn't do it anymore. And because I got into the radio gig, I didn't really have time to forecast 5 days for every city in the whole country, because that's a lot of work, I have to tell you. When you get onto that computer and you look at all the models and stuff, because there's about 16 different I'd say over 10 different models you have to look at. You got to figure out the weather forecast, and you got to put your own forecast together, and that took about 2 hours a day of my day to put those weather forecasts together. And by the end of that time, I was like, oh, I'm beat now. I got to do a video on all these cities across the country. So that was that case there before I got into the radio, and then I couldn't do it anymore because by that time, getting up early in the day and then doing all that later on in the day, it gets tiring. I still do that forecast every day at the end of the day, kind of 2, but instead of 15 5-day forecasts, I only do like 2 in the afternoon, so it takes a little less time to take care of. But after I left the weather center there, the WX center there, then I joined the Weather Network official observer group, sending in observations with many other people across the country of Canada for the Brooks area here, letting everyone know what the conditions are like. And then also last couple of years I've been doing a couple little weather hits with them, sending in some videos of myself talking about the weather situation that we're having here, and then they put it up on television. So yeah, I've been doing a couple of those last couple of years. And then the other thing is I also joined, what else have I been doing? Oh yes, I've also in 2014 joined the Alberta Storm Chasers Group in Alberta. So this is a big group. Over 15,000 people are on this group, so make sure you join that. And we cover all the severe weather in the season, putting up threads and everything. And there's about 700 members there. They put on a lot of hard work throughout the storm season, making sure the threads are up and in place, and not only that, but also making sure everyone's kind of behaving on that page. And it's becoming quite a pretty big fan base. So yeah, so I've joined that one, helped them out with their forecasting and tracking some of the severe weather that occurs throughout the storm season, especially during the summer months at that time. And then I've also, so that is in 2014, and then into, later on in the next couple of years, I've eventually joined the Suit and Tie gang here. And next thing you know, here's the Doppler Boy on the t-shirt there. So yeah, joined them about 1 year ago, and then this year I've also joined the instant weather pages in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. So I'm now taking care of those. Started in December there of 2017.
All right, quick look at the conditions that we have out here. Snow still coming down. A lot of blowing going on out here as well. At least about 2 centimeters of snow. We've got snowfall rates about 1 centimeter an hour here. And my goodness, this wind chill out here. Wind chill's well into the minus 30s right now, with winds gusting around 40 kilometers an hour. And we're likely going to pick up around 5 centimeters of snow once the snow is moved off later on today. You get the idea. So it's pretty much reduced visibility. Not the best conditions out here, and the conditions will basically continue to deteriorate on the roads throughout the day today. Stay tuned for further updates.